lots of cutouts, and he charged good money, but he never saved any brood or wax from cutouts because of the hive beetles. But anyway, ready to get started, everybody? It's time. Well, let's open in a word of prayer today and start our meeting. Father, we just come before you in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Lord, for each and every person. We ask you to open up our minds and our ears that we could learn about bees, and we give it all to you in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, tonight we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to learn about some methods of controlling our Varroa mites. First, we're going to hear from old Bob. Hey, old Bob, what are you going to tell us?
I haven't had no new money either. I haven't solved the bank statement, so.
Keep talking. Okay.
I assume we had the same amount of money we had last time. And I can't find it.
410, I think.
14, I believe, what we had.
So we're in the black. You hadn't spent all of our money yet, have you?
Haven't spent the time.
Okay. All right. So our secretary is going to come and give us an update.
So last July, we met here at the old school gym on School Street. As the senior center is still being used for City Hall, the police department, and will be for this foreseeable future. Treasury report was at $445 in bank in the cash. It's everything together in the bank, $410.
Okay.
Yeah. I read the minutes. Both minutes and treasury reports were accepted. We discussed the bylaws and decided to make permanent changes to reflect how we are doing business. Memberships have an individual renewal dates. $10 dues will include the whole family, but we will still take donations. Discuss the need for a VP. So any takers, any volunteers. We formally split the duties of the treasurer and the secretary. Once these changes are made, the updated bylaws they currently are posted on the website. And I don't know if I texted y'all all the links. It's been a very busy month for me, so I apologize. But it is on the website. Matthew K. from Hives for Heroes came by to share with us all the good works for the community and education for that Hives for Heroes does in Arkansas and nationwide. Lonnie demonstrated how he scrapes the honey-filled comb off the plastic frames, and we had a honey tasting session. We discussed the importance of doing business with honesty and integrity and how many people have been taken advantage of by quote-unquote members, or have taken advantage of members by connecting on the Facebook public page. So, and we discussed that the club is not an entity, as an entity, is not responsible for business between members and vendors. And with that in mind, it was decided that I would make a private Facebook group of only in-person members so that we can better protect ourselves, which I've done. I believe I've invited most of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, seek me out, Dawn Snow. It's just me, and I'm in Myrtle, so I'm pretty easy to find. So if you want to be in that private group that is in-person meeting members only, just so that we can kind of be clear on who's a shyster and who isn't.
And let me explain part of that. If you go to somebody selling jars, as an example, and say, I'm a member of Five Rivers Bee Club, I want a discount. Don't be using our name unless we understand and know who you are and what you are. Because we had some people using our name of Five Rivers Bee Club. We haven't seen or heard from those people in years, and I didn't even know who they were.
In actuality, in January, we got hit with over $1,000 bill for shipping for somebody buying jars
that we didn't even know. But anyway, we tracked it down and figured it out, and they did take care of it, and it all worked out. But it was a problem. So that's why we have to
Hours and hours on the phone.
put that into the bylaws and the minutes that we're not responsible, Five Rivers Bee Club, for anything you buy or do out there, and the Five Rivers Bee Club is not responsible if you bought bees from somebody and you're blaming Five Rivers Bee Club.
Or trying to make us responsible for payment that you should.
There we go.
Making.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, something. Anyway, so
we had somebody buy some packaged bees, and they were calling me every day because their bees had European foul brood. Well,
the purchased bees.
I had nothing to do with that. Talk to the people you bought it from.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
And that connection was made through the public group. So we just have to make sure that when we're dealing with each other, that we know who we're dealing with.
So they wanted Five Rivers sort of to pay for his packages of bees that he thought got European foul brood from a person that we recommended or something. But anyway, that's.
Yeah. And I blocked that guy.
I hope you understand.
I blocked that bad vendor.
What that is. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. So, do I hear a motion to accept the treasure? Oh, one last little thing before we go further. I got the post office box sorted again, and so we still have the same number, and we have the post office box going. And I went ahead and paid for it an entire year. And I'm donating that fund, so I don't need.
And that box number is what?
1212.
In what town?
Hardy.
Okay.
P.O. Box Hardy, 1212. Yeah. So, with all that being said, do I hear a motion to accept the Ari? Thank you. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Joanne. And all in favor?
I
Anybody say no?
have to accept
Then
his too.
yeah, I did.
Oh, we did already?
As a vote.
Okay.
Then everything's fantastic. We can move on. Thank you.
Okay, ready to learn about little bugs, huh? Okay. Okay, I said before Dawn comes, she's going to talk a little about Varroa mites. But I said I would go into a hive. I took my shower, shaved, and ready to go, and I go, I'm forgetting something. I forgot the bees. So I killed a cup of bees and put it in this Varroa mite tester, put alcohol in there. You can use window washer fluid from your truck or car. And so I put it in there, so we're going to check and see if I've got some mites. I haven't even shook this up. So,
Don't open it around me.
huh?
Don't open it around me.
Okay,
I'm allergic to rubbing out.
okay.
You shouldn't have to open it. All you gotta do is look underneath, right?
That's the idea.
Okay.
Those little tiny bugs, I can't even see them. Anybody got their little light?
Here you go.
Okay, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, 10.
I think you need to treat.
Yes.
Let's show the camera too, with your light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see them. Let's show the camera.
Okay, if you got bees, I bet you $1 to a donut, you got mites. Now, I haven't treated since last year. You may need your light underneath that. Can you
Like
take your
going on YouTube.
phone light?
Got it.
So what I did, I took this box, just a plastic box like this, real simple. You can use anything. It works really simple this way. And I took a frame of bees from my top honey super, and I shook it in there. And I looked like I had about a cup full, and basically kind of bumped them to the corner, poured them in the cup, and then put them on the thing right there. And so
is that excessive or no?
that's pretty excessive, really. Now that was out of a 10 frame hive. I went to one of my strongest hives.
But there's only a cup of bees.
1 cup of bees, and
It's
that is your
300.
test. That's your test. And so
that averages to be 300 bees, which is what you want to test. Averaging a cup of bees is 300 bees.
So if you only get 1 or 2 mites.
that yellow cup on the top, it was totally full of bees. And I put it on the top, and I did not shake it. I did one time, and I killed all the bees. They died just like that in that alcohol, or window washing fluid works just perfect. So you should test a couple of your hives. You don't have to test all of your hives, but test a few of your hives to see how you are loaded with mites. Now we're going to hear from Dawn. She's going to tell us about the life cycle of the Varroa mite.
So as y'all are going around, this is I don't know if y'all have seen that honeybee life cycle chart that's around on Facebook and all the different websites that kind of have them all by day of how when the an egg is laid, as well as the other when they turn into larvae, when they turn into a pupae, and when. Anyways, this is what this is based off of. I thought it might be better for y'all to visualize it. I'm a real visual person. Thank you very much. And so the main reproductive cycle of a Varroa mite is basically our working season. But the main reproductive calendar runs from June through September. And early in the year and late in the year, the mites numbers can get low, and especially if you can get them low in September, they're going to be low when you start to want to test again, or treat again the next spring. Treatment during the low time is imperative because you want that number to be 0. You want that number to be, when you test your 300 bees, you want that number to be below 3. August, September is the peak of the mite populations. They are going at it, and the math is explained right here.
Why would they be going at it?
Well, because their job is to reproduce. If you have something else, I don't know the why.
They know
I know the how.
They know that their time is short because the queen is going to quit laying eggs right now. We're going into dearth. How many has lots of flowers on their farm right now? I don't have squat hardly. So the peak of the honey flow has stopped, and so the queen is shutting down for her laying. When the flowers start, when we have some fall rains, she'll pick up of laying. So those mites, their time is short. They're going to attach to that bee and go through the winter, sucking the fat right out of that hive.
Yeah, and they do attach to the bees to do that. There's 2 different types of mites. There's the phoretic, which travel around and then the reproductive, which are in the cells, which is what I've shown on this chart. By August, an untreated hive can have an amazing amount of mites. Basically, the math goes that there are basically 3,100 cells on, say, a plastic frame. That's what I can count, or that's what the manufacturers say. And say, even if you just take 50% of that, is 1,500. One female mite goes into a worker cell, and she will lay, the first egg she lays is a male. That male will then mate again with her, and she will lay another egg, a female. And that male will mate then with his sister. And then it goes on and on and on. What happens is that in a worker cell, 2 mites two females will emerge. So it's double. So 1,500, we're back up to 3,100 mites coming out of one side of a foundation if it's 50% brood. If it's drone brood, that number goes up to 3 to 4 mites coming out of a drone brood. And they come out already attached to that one worker bee. And as she travels around, she's going to take those female mites and they're going to find another place to lay that's got another egg in it. That's why it's important to do it. And they attach and they feed on the fatty. I don't understand the bee.
fat tissue,
the fat tissue of the bee.
We used to think that they suck the blood out of the bee, but no, they feed on the fat of the bee.
Yep. He demonstrated the alcohol shake, but there's another type of a management thing that can happen is powdered sugar shakes. You just have the powdered sugar, not from the store. The way I make my powdered sugar is I will actually run mine through the blender to make true powdered sugar, because powdered sugar in the store's got cornstarch and whatnot in it, so anti-cakey. But so I will keep it in my bee kit and I shake over the top of the frames just liberally. They will groom themselves off of that powdered sugar as well as then groom off the mites. If you have a sticky board underneath, they will drop, and then you can use that in a day or two to count the mites that fall after your powdered sugar shake. So that's one way to do it as well. That's the powdered sugar shake, including with the gridded sticky boards. The Dawn dishwashing soap, in case you're, say, allergic to the alcohol. Everything kills the bees except for the sugar shake. Now, there is another one which I didn't include here, which is kind of a CO2 gas, and it puts them to sleep, and the mites tend to drop off of them. I saw that a couple years ago on a couple of YouTube videos, but I haven't found any current information about that. I don't know that it was really well accepted, but it was kind of an interesting idea.
Drop cells, are they dead?
The bees are not dead, but the Varroas are. So that's kind of interesting. Also, I heard Australia's also got kind of an interesting one where they will take, actually, these are hive heaters, and they'll raise the temperature, which our hives are pretty hot right now anyway, but they'll raise the temperatures up in these hives, and actually the mites will all drop off. And I don't know anything more about it. Yes, sir.
I do. The bees' larva upper temperature that they can survive is higher than the mites.
Okay.
So it's like a 5-degree increase that the bees can actually bring their hives
Tolerate. Yeah.
and get rid of Varroa that way.
Oh, that's interesting. So maybe we need to all heat our hives up to whatever. They're hot now.
They're 5 degrees above what they were a couple of weeks ago.
That's the darn truth. It was 101 at my house today.
103 yesterday.
Yes. Isn't that nuts? I left Texas for cooler weather. I'm wondering. So.
I was in Texas a couple of weeks ago, and it was 100 degrees in South Dakota.
Oh, Lord. What is going on? Anyway, so management that's the measurement techniques. The measurement techniques include screen bottom boards. Whether or not you believe in that or not, it doesn't matter. I run screen bottom boards. Anything that shouldn't be in there that's dropped through is okay with me. I seal them up in the winter. Caging the queen, for a certain amount of time, managing when and how she lays, removing drone brood, sticky boards used with powdered sugar, which is I just discussed, oxalate, vape wands and vapors. Here's my gun. This is a vape wand. I upgraded from this to the wand because the gun, I liked it better. So you can see it's been used.
I forgot to bring the battery.
I have a little battery over
Okay.
here. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. This is how I use it. But
We're going to go outside in a few minutes and
Yeah.
test you can see the vapor if
And this
anybody's
one is-
never seen it before.
Yeah, it's true. This one takes a plug, which I can plug in there, I believe. And then this one actually does need a battery. So, you know, it don't matter. And I also brought all my gear. That's the thing, with the OA, you need respiratory gear. You need, you know, make sure that you're all safe and tidy. It can get, I did inhale the first time I lit one. It was like, oh, I must have coughed for days afterwards. I probably did damage, but I'm just not thinking about it. So, anyway, so treatments are extended release straws, towels, and strips. You were going to give us a recipe later for extended release towels. Amitraz, fluvalinate, formic acid, and thymol. But OA is the only one that's FDA approved for when honey supers are on, because it doesn't cross that barrier. Anyway, I think that, anybody have any questions? No? Did I cover it? Was I right? Did I do good? Thank you.
Hey, one thing.
Yes, sir.
You know you got all the mites off you. If you got all your mites out of the hive, that bee flies out, gets on a flower, and another bee lands on there. That mite will fall off on the flower. Next bee come by, they'll get back on it.
Yes, sir. And that's why constant monitoring is important. At least 2-3 times a season. Would you agree, Ari?
Sometimes more than that.
Sometimes more than that. Okay. So that's the key. You know, they came. Everybody likes to say they're an Asian import, which they are. But I always think of from Asia, maybe Chinese or something coming in on one of the Chinese ships with all the goods that we buy from China. But actually, they're from Korea, and they jumped over to apparently Japan, and that genus of honeybee, which is not the same that we have here, that genus of honeybee actually has come up with they're very hygienic, and they will not tolerate the mites in their hive. And I don't know exactly what they do, but I think that our genus of honeybees that we deal with are getting there, with the help of people like Corey Stevens and all the mite resistance that's happening with the breeding. And I do think that that's the way that we're going to go. I appreciate it. And if no other questions, yes, sir.
Donna, Bob and I, last year before, we did the oxalic acid with the sponges.
Yeah.
You know, there's a YouTube about that.
Yeah.
We're good.
You don't have to have the respirator.
Right.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, and I did that 2 years ago. I loved it, and actually, I'm kind of using that right now. I'll have to take them off the first week in September, and so, they're on they're on thin cardboard instead of the sponges.
You do the sponge.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you looked at how much oxalic acid in the willow tree?
No.
It's got pretty high potency. So if you have those around, that's a good thing to have for the baby.
Okay, we talked about the sponges. Okay, so we're going to talk about this right now. Randy Oliver has did a lot of research on using this sponge method, which is what we want to call a slow release or extended release method of the oxalic acid. And so it's relatively a simple recipe. So it's basically this, what do you call it?
Glycol.
Huh?
Glycol.
Yeah.
It's the same chemical they use in bait.
And you take a 1-to-1 of the oxalic acid, 1 part this and 1 part this. And what we do is we take this, we'll heat it up, but not over 170 degrees, around that 150 to 140 degrees. And we heat that up in a saucepan or some kind of container. And we're going to heat that up. And then we're going to pour in our oxalic acid. So 1-to-1. I had trouble finding this at first, but I found it at the Amish store. So 1 to 1. So that's a pretty simple recipe. You really almost don't need to weigh it out. So I found these little pads, which was kind of recommended from Walmart in the pots and pan department. And so these really soak up the liquid. And so I took and mixed up my mixture. Last year we used this and I handed it out and just laid them in my container and poured it over there, over the thing. You can also use these blue shop towels. They work pretty good too. They'll soak up the material. You can tear them, put them in your hive. So you're going to use one of these on your 10 frame hive in that, like, opposite of each other. Part of it over here, part of it over here. So you'll use 2 for a 10 frame hive this size right here. You can use other sponges that soak the liquid up. I saw some on YouTube. All you need to do is just go to YouTube and you'll see a half a dozen videos of this same thing. 50% this, 50% this. Anyway, check it out. Oxalic acid. What is oxalic acid? Does anybody know? Wood bleach. It's just a powder stuff. And I found out it comes in a liquid form. I didn't know that until today. It comes with this little container here. You can take your oxalic acid in this form right here. It's just a powder like that. On your vaporizer, you're just going to put it on here like this, and you're going to stick that in your hive, and it's going to make a big fuming thing. But when that happens, when you vaporize it, the most important thing, you put it in this little cap right here, fill it up, put it on there like that, and she'll fog up. But the thing is, you're taking and turning this into a vapor. When you turn it into a vapor, you really, really need a mask. That vapor is super toxic to your lungs. If you breathe that at all, you're going to cough, choke. It's going to harm you really, really bad. In this form right here of the powder stuff, it's really not too toxic or anything like that. So how do you turn this into basically a liquid? Is you just heat this up. You can't just put 1 to 1. You're going to have to heat this up into a heat. Pour in your oxalic acid, whatever it is, 50%. Soak your pads, and you're good to go. Then you're going to put this onto your hives. It's almost better to soak them overnight instead of put them in the hive right away. Easy to make. Easy to make. Once you've made your solution and you have them in there, a 1 gallon baggie, just like that, and then you can go out to your bee yard and install them in a hive. So let's look at another method, which I have not ever tried this on my hives, and it's what they call the dribble method. Anybody familiar with the dribble method of? Oh, so I get to teach you something brand new today. Yay! Okay. The dribble method is pretty well 5 cc's of the liquid that we're going to do, not in a hive, not more than 50 cc's. Where do you get one of these? Like, Bob, where do we get these?
You might find them in a farm supply.
A farm supply, or I know Bob. Okay. So I'm going to try this. So it's we need a sugar solution, and it's taking a sugar solution and turn it into the sugar syrup. So we take basically a 1-to-1 sugar syrup, which you're going to feed your bees. So I'm not going to do a whole lot here. Just this is nothing but white sugar. Okay, we have about that much right there. Okay. And so I have some hot water here. We're going to take approximately the same amount. I don't know how hot that is by now. Anyway, a little more hot water. The amount of your sugar solution isn't as critical as it is the amount of our oxalic acid.
So you're basically trying to.
This is a 1-to-1 sugar solution. Now we need to melt our oxalic acid. For this amount right here, we need approximately 2 ounces. Where did my little scooper go to? This is half a teaspoon, I think. So basically,
How many teaspoons did you say?
we need 2 ounces.
2 ounces.
You should weigh this out. That's why I have the scale here. I'm guessing right now. We're gonna guess. For time's sake.
2 ounces?
Huh?
How do you come up with you needed 2 ounces?
I'm going by what somebody else had already on the internet. You know, YouTube. If it's on YouTube, it's correct, right?
Right, yeah.
So I had. So it's that simple. The main thing is for the oxalic acid is to liquefy. So now that you have it liquefied, like a nucleus colony, you only need about 5 ounces. So you suck up your 5 ounces, and you're going to. Well, we'll try it on this. I haven't even looked at this. He brought this in, and we're supposed to analyze it. So you've got frames in here, right? Yeah, this is great. Thank you. So you've got your bees in there, and they're all in there. You're going to go dribbling right on top of the bees. You're going to use your 5 ounces. If it's a 10-frame hive, you're going to use 50 ounces if it's a double. Not more than 50 ounces. You're going to go down on top of your bees. They're all in there.
Not on the frames,
On the bees itself. Real simple. So you're going to go down through there on each in between. Now, if you have some frames of, blank, no bees, no need to do that. You're going to put it on the bees. So a 5 frame, like I said, 5 ounces. A big hive, not more than 50 ounces. You could put, go down through there on the double 10 frame. Okay? Pretty simple, right? How many's going to try it? Yeah.
I mean, can you put them back on right away, or?
Yeah. You'd put it on the brood box of your dribble method. Now, this supposedly kills the mites. You're going to put that sugar water substance on the bees. They're going to lick it off, and it kills the mite according to the information I read.
Can you spray it with a mister, like a spritz bottle?
I don't know.
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not, but the name of it is the dribble method, not the spray method. This is called the dribble method, not the spray method. I don't know the answer to.
Randy Oliver would say not to. I've get right. He say you use dribble.
So I don't know that answer. So what? Yeah, just on the sponges. Yeah. So the sponge method, which we call it the slow release. Now, to my understanding, this method doesn't kill the mites. So you would put on a 10 frame hive here and one over on this side over here. I'm using a 10 frame example. You understand what I mean? To my understanding, this does not kill the mites, but it interrupts the laying cycle of the female Varroa mite. It interrupts her cycle of her reproduction. There's the word I was trying to look for, yeah. And so it doesn't kill the mites. This method, according to the information I read and listened to, it kills the mite. I want to kill every one of them. But anyway, along with hive beetles. Huh?
I've traditionally done other types of treatments during the summer, like the towels, or I've got strips in there right now. And then right before I put them to bed at the winter, I do the oxalic acid vapor. But if the vapor doesn't have, does the vapor kill them?
To my understanding, no, but it makes them drop off of the
Would it be difficult?
bee.
Would it be wrong to do this in a cooler climate, say in November? Because if that kills the mites.
Okay, that is a good point. It's best to do it when it's around 65 and 50 degrees. We are going into the peak and the temperature is going to start to drop, and around that 65, 50 degrees. With 35 grams, I don't know how much 35 grams weighs. Where's Bill? You weigh that out.
That is a weight.
I mean, it's an ounce and a quarter. So I put approximately 2 ounces in here of the oxalic acid, and using the dribble method should treat approximately 5 hives.
Just that much.
Yeah, you might put a little bit more of the sugar syrup, but should. Okay, you try it. Let us know. Okay. I had a lot of my notes, but I seem to have lost where I was going. I hope y'all forgive me. But the dribble method to me seems pretty simple. I like the idea that it kills the mite right there on the spot. The slow release, I like it. I used it last year on every one of my hives. How well it did, I don't know. They pretty well, I lost about 20% of my hives out of 35 hives. And, huh? When you're cooking with the oxalic acid and you're using the vapor, use a respirator. Right before we dismiss, we'll go out and watch this vapor.
Not one like this. One like this.
Neither is he.
Step away, far away.
But anyway, we're gonna see it. You have a battery, you said?
I do have a little battery now. The battery may or may not work. I don't know.
Okay.
But we'll find out. The thing I wanted to mention on camera about the oxalic vapor is I see so many people with the wands going in the bottom, and even the little spout going in at the entrance level. If you look at the vapor outside, if you ever wanted to do that with a respirator on and goggles and everything on, and I do usually wear goggles too, the vapor doesn't rise, the vapor falls. And so I feel like the treatment holes like that we would do for this, or you put a golf tee in it so that you would seal up, make the hole higher. I'm sorry?
3/16.
Yeah, a 3/16 hole, whatever treatment hole.
About like a
you
golf
make,
tee.
Like a golf tee. You put it in there to seal it up when you're not using it. But put it up higher on your hive, because naturally the oxalic acid vapor does not rise, it falls.
And I didn't
Not
mention
quite. That's too much.
close up the hive.
You have to close up the hive.
You're going to close it up, this entrance.
That's what I
As
have
you
all the
fog it,
differences.
you're going to seal that hive up.
Yeah, I mean, you still want them to be able to breathe. You're not sealing it with duct tape or plastic or nothing, but you are going to keep the bees in. You want to keep the bees in, and then I have the timer set all the time.
So you pull your super off and you wave it over the top of it
No, sir.
and let it fall in?
No. You can actually, with the vapor, you can actually treat with your super on. But yeah, you take your super off if you want. You put the lid back on,
Okay.
and then you treat.
Okay.
If
you can do it from the top, drill a hole, 3/16 hole. Drill a hole.
The size of a golf tee. Something I did not mention, and I have it sitting here to remind me. After you've extracted your honey, you've took your supers off, you've let the bees clean up the wet supers, and now what do you do with those wet supers, or what do you do with those supers? Lots of people will just store them on top of the hive for a period of time, maybe till cold weather or something, but moths can get in them. So we protect our honey supers. We're going to use them again next year. We're going to use that wax again. So I have used this moth, paramoth, inside the hive. I'll stack my supers up 4 or 5 high, and I put a shim board on. The shim board is, like the size of this box here. And I take a pie pan and I fill that up with my paramoth. Now this stuff is expensive, $31.99. Dawn turned me on to something much cheaper, and it was at the grocery store right over here, Town and Country. I think a couple of stores. What's it called, Dawn?
Enos mothballs. Moth crystals.
Moth crystals.
Moth crystals. Enos. ENOZ. And they're like $6 for a big package.
Same amount as this, $6 versus
It's the
$31.99.
chemical. I was looking for the chemical and one day, and I wasn't going to make it to the farm store, and I was in Harps, and I looked at Harps. They have the Enos, and they have all the Enos brands to put in your closet for moth treatments for your closet and blankets and whatnot. It's the same chemical.
So don't use moth balls. You don't want to use those. The reason why, I'm not totally sure how to explain it,
I
but
don't think it's exactly the same.
it's not the same chemical. Anyway, this paramoth crystals. So I put them in the pie pan, and I put this on top of the beehive, not on the bottom. The fumes will go down, and so I'll use that shim board, the same size as my beehive. Well, if it's a 10 frame, I'll use a 10 frame shim. If it's my 5 frame nucleus like this, I'll use the 5-frame shim and stack some more on top of it, depending on how much room I have. And so how cheap is that? Punch a little holes in there and it works. To me, I thought it worked really well. I hope y'all try and do something with Varroa mites. How many does treatment-free beekeeping? Well, I was a guy that used to say, well, all them treatment-free people, I'm going to sell them some bees in the spring, because I don't think it works. But I personally think you got to do something, whether it is a method of brood break,
Which is a form of treatment.
but it's no chemical. This is a chemical that we're talking about with oxalic acid. Oxalic acid is a natural thing that comes out of the earth. Anyway, this was brought in, and we're supposed to analyze it. What happened to these bees? You got a package of bees?
I can talk to you here. Yeah, it's a package I won here at the Bee Club.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I took it home, set it out, and I was going to immediately move it to a 10-frame box, and Bob advised me, don't do that. Give them some time and let them build, and so I did that. And then they were in there about a month, and I was going to bring your stuff back, so I moved them into one of my boxes, and that box of Bob's, I took the two. The original 5 frames probably had 4 frames that the bees had worked. They either had brood in them, 2 of them had brood, and 2 of them had full comb with some honey in it. And so I moved 1 frame of brood and 1 frame of honey up to the top box, put them together, brought your stuff back, looked at them about, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I tried to look at them every week, but a couple of weeks afterwards, they were just doing great. You know, there were bees coming and going, and I didn't pop the lid on them, but it's really good. A couple of weeks after that, Bob had asked me about them. I said, well, they looked a little weak. There wasn't as many bees coming and going. Then a couple of weeks after that, I popped the lid on them, and there was this, what you see there is what I had. No bees, bees completely gone. There's several larvae in those frames. Bob thinks it's wax moth.
Well, from all indication, the problem here was being friends with Bob.
Yeah, that's what I said. I wanted to tell you that I didn't have any trouble with
Yeah, this looks totally like a Bob problem to me.
And but wax moth stuff happens after they're already weak.
Huh?
They're already weak. They don't kill them. You got robbed out. Just the roughness of the open hives. You at the 2 or 3 weeks later, when you said it was 2 or 3 weeks and there were less bees, you saw they were robbing out.
So here the way it looks, you had a brood pattern that there was. They had laid eggs all in here. This is
strong brood frames, I thought.
and
you lost your queen somewhere, somehow, right?
But if they were eggs, they should have had a sale making a new one or two.
You would think, and or do you think that they just got upset and left? They don't like vents.
So my question to the club, each of you, would you use this frame again next year?
No.
I might melt it down and start over.
Yeah, I know.
I would probably use.
Just like this.
I put it in the freezer. Oh, that's the other thing. Before I move those into the new box, I have those frames and that new box in the freezer. Under Bob's advice, I do that for 3 days before I put.
There you go. That explains it all right there. I told you it's a Bob problem. So this was my old box.
No, that's Bob's.
Bob's box. Is this?
I've already given you yours back.
This is Bob's frames.
Does anybody else want to see it?
Okay, Ken. I don't have a true answer for you. What
Did
happened?
you see what was in the bottom box?
Yeah, it didn't look good.
What is that?
It's from the wax moths. They moved in and they ate a bunch of stuff and it fell down in there and it gooped.
They're just the cleanup crew after the demise that's already happened.
See, that's the web from the wax moths.